And this kind of leads to my ask hole question
I'm
for
ready.
you. Well, do you think the Hoyers' inability to trade certain guys away, and really Bryant, and then I don't. This is an ask hole question, but Kimbrel looked vulnerable the other night as he let up
Oh,
double over his head. Is this the fall of Craig Kimbrel? Do you think Hoyer has waited too long to make a trade, and now the Cubs player values are dropping with a gimpy Bryant and Kimbrel looking like, oh my God, is he over? Is it over for Kimbrel?
now obviously, yes. You get the what asshole is all about, because that might be a little less, little more disingenuous than most asshole questions, but that's a good one. No, can I answer this?
That's
Answer
it?
that
No?
as an asshole. No, I'm
Yeah,
not
there you
worried.
go. There you go. All right,
Jed Hoyer
cool.
has not waited too long.
Ooh,
If Well,
no.
because things ratchet up the longer they go, as we get closer to the trade deadline, we are less than a week away. Those factors, those market forces work in the Cubs' favor as more teams decide they need to make a major move to strengthen their roster going forward, as there is no waiver deadline now. There is just one trade deadline, and that is this coming Friday. um Bryant, yeah, you would have had a definite point if he hadn't played the game yesterday. So that would have been, that would have been the biggest story across baseball if Hoyer had waited too long. So that didn't that little factoid didn't work out in your favor for this one. But I would have been freaked out if he didn't play yesterday. So
I mean, this question was better on Thursday
yeah,
because
yeah,
he hadn't played yet, and we
yeah.
wouldn't have known about the at bat while we were on the air because that game was at night, right? Or would we have known
Yeah,
about it? Yeah.
yeah. It was Thursday
So
night. Yeah,
yeah, so we
he
wouldn't
didn't
have
come
known.
back.
So you may have been panicking on this
I would have been.
question on Thursday night.
Absolutely. So yeah, that part is very valid. Craig Kimbrell, I am not worried about in the least.
That was a joke.
Yeah, I
That
mean
was yeah, that's just fun.
he finally
Yeah.
gave up a run. I
Yeah,
mean,
I know. What
so
a
his
jerk.
ERA went from 0.54 to what, 7?
0.56
Yeah,
or
something ridiculous. So he's clearly above all in, as a closer candidate to be traded. He's now rumored to be a target of the LA Dodgers, who
yep.
Kenley Jansen melted down several times, which we're going to get to in your Giants segment. Um, the Red Sox are still one of the front runners for his services. I think the market is only ratcheting up for Craig Kimbrell, as he's proven to be. He's the best closer in baseball, and it couldn't be at a better time, as that is going to be the hottest commodity at this trade deadline. So
And he has that option. That's
yeah,
huge. That's
pointed
going to
that
work
out
out
last
huge.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a huge valuable piece to that. Is he's not a rental. He's got a team friendly contract that can bring him on for next year as well. So yeah, he's going to bring back more than they could ever imagine. The timing couldn't be better. It's unfortunate he did give up a run finally, but I think he's going to right the ship. I'm not concerned. Of course, if he blows up all week, I think that might incrementally hurt his trade value, but I don't think anyone's going to look at what's happened in 1 week, uh, one way or the other. I think the teams that are interested in Craig Kimbrell are still going to be interested no matter what happens. They are also playing the Diamondbacks this weekend, and I forget who they've
He may
got.
not even get to pitch.
Yeah, that's the thing. So he's just sitting on the shelf, just accumulating value and letting the
Exactly.
bids come in. So, but that is, the Cubs really are going to be the focus of the entire trade deadline. That there's they have so many pieces that people are interested in, including one Anthony Rizzo. I've even heard rumored
To
that.
the pinstripes.
Well, I've heard that. I've heard that all along, and that makes a lot of sense. You could see him taking advantage as a left-handed batter, taking advantage of their short porch in right field. It seems a natural fit. He's never had facial hair, so he wouldn't have to shave it off to become a Yankee. That seems like a fit. The new rumor out there, that I just heard about half hour before we got on the podcast, is the Boston Red Sox, his first team, the team that drafted him, would be very interested in his services, mainly defensively at first base. He would definitely be an upgrade. Offensively, I'm not sure what he brings to the table or what his value is, I think he would definitely be a third tier trade compared to Bryant or Kimbrel, the value that he would get in return. But I think it does make sense that Rizzo could definitely be traded. He looks disinterested. He looks confused. He looks like his mind is elsewhere. He's batting like 214 on the season now. And this is continuing off a very mediocre 2020 season. It's strange to see him making base running errors where, an obvious situation earlier this week where he should have run on contact from third base and was picked off at home because he didn't run on contact at first base in extra innings. There's something clearly wrong with his mental state right now. And I don't think he would object to a trade at this point. If the Cubs want him and he really wants to be a Cub long-term, they can just sign him in the offseason. They can make that decision if they want. But if the Cubs can trade him and get something in return that helps them down the road, I think it has to be done. Clearly, we've talked about it. The main chips out there are Kris Bryant and Craig Kimbrel. Back to Kris Bryant a little bit. I feel like the entire NL East would be interested in the services of one Kris Bryant, especially if his hamstring is not an issue going forward. You've heard him rumored with the Nationals a little bit. You've heard him rumored with the Phillies even. Diamond Dave Dombrowski in Philadelphia now is not one that is scared to make trades no matter what state his team is in or what their playoff possibilities are. I could see that being a match, but the big one that we've talked about multiple times and is only gaining steam is the New York Mets. And in fact, the back of the New York Post had one of their infamous headlines, "Christmas in July," spelled with a K, and a huge picture of Kris Bryant. And I think that's the obvious match where the Steve, whatever his name is, Steve Cohen, the new owner, multi-billionaire owner of the Mets, who is not afraid to spend some money and do whatever it takes to get his beloved Mets deep into the playoffs, if not into a World Series situation. They will do whatever it takes to bolster their roster. And I think it makes a lot of sense for Kris Bryant to go there. I think Kris Bryant would be happy to get out of the situation that seems to be a toxic one in Chicago right now. I think moving to New York would fit him quite well, even if it's a short-term thing. And again, with all these players, if they didn't want to leave Chicago, or if the Cubs really wanted them, they can re-sign in the offseason if there's a match. They're two willing partners that they can choose to be together if they want. There's nothing that says if you trade somebody away at the deadline that they cannot come back.
Look at good old Aroldis Chapman.
Well, Chapman is the prime example. It doesn't happen a ton, but it can happen. And I kind of bristle at the people that try to make up the idea that you lose that player forever. Well, if there's a will, there's a way. If they want to be together, they will. The old saying goes, if you love something, set it free. If it returns to you, it's true love. So.
Dude, I don't think I've ever said this to you on the air, but shut the fuck up.
Touche.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's a little team that I support that seems to be in on the Kris Bryant game. And that is the San Francisco Giants.
Nicely transitioned there.
I was surprised, not surprised because they have 61 wins, but it makes sense.
I hadn't really thought about that too much.
Makes actually, as much as it makes sense to the Mets, it equally makes probably even more sense to the Giants on how they can utilize him there.
Because Longoria is out at third base.
He's still out. So you've got him at third base, and then you got the options in the outfield and probably all of the infield too. So
and that's what makes Bryant so valuable is his versatility. And he's shown he is a quality defensive major league player at up to 5 positions now. He's not unbelievable. He's not a liability anywhere. his bat has not been as good in the last month or so as it started out the season, as he was a MVP candidate. But it's not like he can't turn that around at some point. I think he's not going to be a liability offensively either. But the versatility, he is so attractive to so many different, just because it's so many different ways for different teams to be able to utilize him down the stretch. That's another thing that's working in the Cubs' favor, that there could be so many suitors. And in fact, I hadn't even considered the Giants as one, but there's going to be more and more that come out of the woodwork.